Oh, sorry. And I didn't realize they were talking. We're ready. I'm rebooting this computer because I'm having some issues with it. So I'll log in just a few minutes behind. So I might not be able to show the land and labor acknowledgement, but just so you know. Okay, Chair, we are ready to begin whenever you are.
Welcome to the Clackamas Community College Board of Education regular meeting, and I will now call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2007, around 8:00 p.m., just an hour later than usual. So Katie, can you do the roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Position number 7, representing Canby and Malala, Irene Konev.
Here.
Position number 4, representing Oregon City, Josephine Joe Crenshaw.
I am here.
Position number 3, representing Gladstone and Johnson City, Wade Hathorn.
Here.
Position number 2, representing Happy Valley and Clackamas, Rob Wheeler is excused this evening. Position number 1, representing Milwaukee, Kathy Heisey.
Here.
And our chair, position number 6, representing Estacada and Colton, Jane Reed.
Here.
Almost the chair again.
Thank you, Katie. And I'd like to take this time to deviate just for a minute from the agenda and recognize that this is the board's first meeting after the passing of our friend and former board member, the late Senator Aaron Woods. He was with us for a long time and he was wonderful. And so I would like to ask all of us just for a moment to just sort of take a moment in silence to honor him and his dedication to the college and to the college's students. So thank you very much. And this is a nice thing. We will let Aaron live forever in our hearts. Katie wrote that, and I think that is perfect. Thank you, Katie. And Wade, can you read the labor and land acknowledgements, please?
I would be happy to.
Thank
right?
you.
The land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the Clackamas Community College campuses reside on the traditional homelands of the Clackamas, Cascades, and Tumwater bands of Chinooks, as well as the Tualatin and Pudding River bands of Kalapuya and the Northern Molalla people. They lived and prospered by maintaining strong cultural ties to the land and through wise management of resources. As signers of the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, they were removed from their homelands to the Grand Ronde Indian Reservation, where they became members of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Please join us in taking this opportunity to thank and honor the original caretakers of this land, their lives, and their descendants that live on as tribal members today, still carrying on the traditions and cultures of their ancestors. The labor acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our nation has benefited and profited from the free and slave labor of Black people. We honor the legacy of the African diaspora and Black life, and the knowledge, skills, and human spirit that persevere in spite of violence and white supremacy.
Thank you, Wade. Public comment. So the Clackamas Community College Board of Education welcomes community members to attend board meetings to become acquainted with the programs and operations of the college district. Members of the public are encouraged to share their comments with the board during the agenda item labeled public comments. Comments from the audience at any other time during the meeting, except for the agenda item, public comments will be declared out of order. So tonight we have one person signed up, and we're happy to have him share his thoughts and concerns. And we would know that we have 3 minutes for this. So when you come up, state your name and city of residence and speak clearly in the microphone. And so we have Chris Konechka.
Hi, thanks. Chris Konechka, Portland resident, full-time faculty member. This part's just me.
It's just
Yeah. You're going to hear from me multiple times.
Oh,
Full-time faculty member and full-time faculty association co-president. So bear with me in my three. I'm going to try to hit a few things and go quickly. Overall, I want to express severe disappointment in the process. Frankly, I was shocked by the comments earlier about the good process for the budget and things like the involvement of full-time faculty specifically, but employee groups across the board. This time around, instead of having the faculty co-president or president involved, it was an application process where the standing members, I suppose, got to choose who among full-time faculty was able to be on the budget advisory subcommittee. So there's already, right, a partitioning of information and power there. Pretty disturbing. Overall, this document, the history behind the budget over the past decade or so, right, indicates a value preference on administrative hiring. You've seen the numbers, you know, depending on if you look at 10 years and 19 hires or 5 years and 14 hires. At the end of the day, it's admin positions up, ACE positions, full-time faculty, and associate faculty positions down. And I know that you'll hear this was reclassified and that was reclassified, but if you still do the numbers at the end of the day, it's admin up, everybody else down, right? And that's the value that's coming out, is a preference for that. And you heard from the public, they know now, top heavy, and that's what people seem to value. So I'm encouraging you to direct it in a different way, right? I can give you another example of this process. Admin held a budget forum 2 weeks ago today for all employees, solicited our questions about the process, purportedly to inform us about them. Didn't answer any of those questions in the forum, 2 weeks on now. No attempt to answer any of them. We were promised a Q&A coming out to us, no contact. So these more managers of fewer employees couldn't get it together to even tell us the answers about our own questions about the budget that would be affecting us. So that's the value that's coming out here. Further, no full-time faculty involvement in the decision to cut out that automotive, you know, that question of could it be a community ed class could have been addressed sooner. Not now, oh, we can look at that option, but hey, that's something we considered and we talked to people about how that would look. And I'm really disturbed by the concept that the take is that we have to approve this budget with the $3 million cut out of it, and then admin decides what gets cut specifically. That opens it up for a really concerning situation where these cuts are made retroactively, and now you can see some have already been made before that approval even happened. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, next item is the consent agenda, and it consists of the following items. Approval of minutes, work and regular session of April 16th, 2025. Acceptance of the monthly financial reports, personnel report, bond update, and winter enrollment report. And since we have a bond update under this consent agenda, I would, let me see if is Jeff here?
Jeff's here.
Oh, good, Jeff, yeah, if Vice President Jeff Schaefer would come forward and speak to that bond portion of this.
Thank you, Chair and Board. I was going to, thanks for pulling that from the consent to allow me the opportunity to also introduce that we have our new owner's representative, Wenaha, here with Dale, who you'll see later this evening. Dale and his team are working with the college to prepare a bond snapshot, like a 1 or 2 page snapshot. So you will start seeing that in your consent agenda. It'll be an opportunity for you to see what's happening with the bond on your consent agenda, what we're working on that particular time, things that are coming to the board in the upcoming meetings. So we wanted to allow you to have that snapshot for those bond projects, and just wanted to put that in this month, and I appreciate the opportunity to come up here and note it.
thank you.
All right.
Those will be really helpful to have. It's always exciting to see how the work is progressing
Yep.
and so thank you
We're
for doing
excited.
that. Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, does anyone want to pull anything from the consent agenda for discussion?
No, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second Irene.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items 1A through 2D. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Any abstentions? So the motion passes. Great. So new business, first read. Let me think about. We don't have anything under new business first read, correct? Okay, yeah. So an action item that we have, resolution number R 2425-27, authorizing contract agreement with Carlson Roofing Company Incorporated for the single-story portion of the Wachino Welcome Center. Dean Ron Prince, please come up and come forward and present this item.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate your time tonight. And I'd just like to ask you to consider approval of this proposal to enter into contract with Carlson Roofing to replace the single-story roof on the older part of the Wachino building. This is a move to protect our asset and to also prevent ongoing excessive repair costs that we've incurred over the last few years on this particular building. Our owner's rep, Dale from Winnehaw, will be speaking to the details of this project and answer any of your questions. Dale?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Board. Went through a competitive bid process with, and we had 4 participants. Prices ranged from the low proposal at 1.78 million, if I recall, to a little over 2 million. The two lower numbers were fairly close to each other, so it indicated good understanding of the documents and good competition in this current climate. The project does include the complete removal down to the concrete deck. There's an existing layer of insulation that was put on when the building was built. It was about that thick, and it's all pretty much waterlogged and squashed. So the project will include installation of R30 insulation, which will qualify the college for an Energy Trust of Oregon incentive. Ron, 80,000?
Yes, sir.
Something like that. So that's good. That incentive is for this calendar year, needs to get done by the end of the year. The project would start after school is out and it will involve some hot asphalt. So notifications will be sent out to the campus and the project will be complete by the time school returns. Any questions?
Any questions?
Just a point of clarification, because I know sometimes I hear the word Wachino Welcome Center, and I think about the lovely brand new building. And so this was an addition to an existing much older building, and the roofing is going on that much older portion. Great.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you. And let me see, we have need. Yeah, do I have a motion to approve resolution number R 242527, authorizing the college to contract with Carlson Roofing Company for roof replacement on the single-story portion of the Wachino Welcome Center?
So moved.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions or no? We have no.
No, just approving hot summer nights, right? Get it?
Yeah. So let's vote by acclamation. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Are there any abstentions? So the motion passes. Yay, a new roof this summer.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item is a budget amendment for the fiscal year 2024-2025, and I'd like to ask Dean Christy Owens to come forward and present this item.
Hello, good evening. Dean Christy Owen, Thank you from Business Services. I'm here tonight with the action that frequently occurs in June. You may recall from prior board meetings, it's one of the last actions the board takes on the current year budget to make sure that resources and appropriations allow for correct alignment for compliance with state local budget law. We recently had a debt sale in April, and the receipt of those bond funds, it's fairly sizable. It's $104 million. And we thought that we would bring forward in May this year, given the size of that resource, and that we could catch some of the other revenue collections in like our student fee funds and our tech fee funds. We could catch all of those at one and then reserve our June time for anything that was left that truly was about compliance with state and state local budget law as needed. So that's the purpose of bringing this here in May, is to make sure that our financial systems of record are reflective of the resources as they have been recognized, predominantly due to the recent debt sale. I believe that was April 1. Are there any questions I can help with?
Okay, if there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve this appropriation transfer for fiscal year 2024-25? Okay, thank you, Joe.
Second.
Okay. So if there are any questions for Christy on this? Nope, it's pretty clear. Thank you. Comes around. So all those in favor to approve of the budget amendments as provided in the agenda packet, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Any abstentions? I think so. So the motion passes, and thank you very much, Bertino.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Okay. Student faculty presentation, the National Collegiate Landscape Competition Horticulture Student Team. Oh, goody. So Dean Sue Goff, will you please come forward and yep.
Thank you. I'll be real brief because you'll want to get to the fun part.
I think the fun
Yay,
part
We need
looks
some
like-
fun, right?
Looks like I want a
so-
t-shirt.
Sue Goff, Dean of the Arts and Sciences Division for 39 more days.
Oh,
Anyway,
Wow.
I am pleased to introduce yet again Chris Kniska, wherever he went. He's back there. You've seen him before. He brought part of the team for the National Collegiate Landscape Competition with him, 3 wonderful students, and you'll hear all about it in the presentation. There you go.
Okay, thank you, Sue.
And you'll introduce them too.
All right, yeah, thanks for having us here tonight on short notice. We wanted to both share with you our success and the good work that we're doing, and also the privilege of receiving some Perkins grant funding money to send the faculty along with it. So the National Collegiate Landscape Competition team is a group of students that every year work on events, and they go to this competitive intercollegiate event somewhere between four-year universities, community colleges, trade schools, et cetera. And we've been sending a team for many years, first headed up by April Chastain, our landscape lead, and now by Jim Wentworth-Plato, our arboriculture lead. And that's the primary focus of the events, are tree or landscape related. And I'm here with 3 students from this year's team, and 2 were on the team last year, right? And the year before. This is Kate Crosby. This is Zach Blay. He was new this year, first year. And Hillary Montero, also returning student. And these 2 ladies will also be graduating here at the end of the term. So turn it over to you guys to share a little bit about it as we go through the presentation here. All right.
Well, like Chris shared, we've attended the last couple years for the National Collegiate Landscape Competition. One of the things that's so special about it is getting to form a family with the team that we go with, practicing different skills that we might not have access to at the college here, like getting to use excavators or different types of software. And then also all of the different industry contacts that we make at the career fair there. Like a number of our teammates came back with job offers ready to go after they graduate. So it's a really great opportunity for all the students that are able to attend. And it actually led me to pursue 2 additional degrees on top of the one that I was already pursuing here, just based on the experience that I had there.
Yeah, so I'll give a little context. This year it was in week 10 of winter term, middle of March at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. And there were 770 participants from 57 colleges and universities around the country, including 11 students here from CCC. Overall, what did we place? I think 24th, something like that. But we had a lot of individual performers in the top 5 and 10% overall, as well as you can see Alice and Alex in the middle there in a second place in their event from employee development. And so that's fun because the top 3 finishers in each event get to go on stage and receive their awards. And it's a big award ceremony at the end that gets people very excited.
We also, from our team, had the top 2 students from the state of Oregon, and the last few years, we've also beat OSU, which we take great pride in, just as a hometown rivalry.
So this is the, oh, okay.
Okay, go.
The last slide you saw. I'm gonna come through. The last slide was the actual competition ceremony itself right there. So I believe that was when they were going up on stage. The whole auditorium is filled. The energy is phenomenal that you get from this and to be with other people. Again, back to the team membership or the teamwork that gets put in here and the competitions. We're here to root each other on, to build each other up, to see other people, to learn new skills and make new connections. And you definitely do with the other teams. We also get to hang out and eat with them and have fun activities with them that the school provides at the time throughout the 3 or 4 days that we are hosted by that school. Oh, little Chloe's in.
Yeah, so part of it is that it happens during the school year. It's usually either week 10 or 11 of winter term. And so these students are doing double time, both studying for and performing final exams remotely, as well as studying for their events as part of the competition. That's really impressive. We got really committed people who care, and they see the value in doing it, not just for where it can get their careers, but for building their own skills, trying out things that are new to them that they want to experience a little bit of, and for building that team environment. I think we really have something cool there. I know I was always told by April, like, no, you'll see when you go, you'll see when you go. It's really special, right? They get a lot out of it being together, but also being part of this thing that they can leverage into careers in the future. And then this spring, for the first time, I went getting ready for basically a backup for sabbaticals that are coming for Jim and April. And so they have another chaperone who knows the ropes a little bit. And it's exactly as they described, a real group effort and a really good feeling all around. Zach?
Wanted to touch on the networking because I was able to talk with the vice president of the steel equipment company and was able to thank our steel rep for giving us batteries, and he then pointed us in the right direction and let us know when new grants were going to be coming out from steel. So they should I don't exactly remember when, but they I sent them to the people.
You networked.
Good.
We did also meet another rep who said that they had funding potentially to help with computer labs from Vectorworks, which is one of the landscape software. So there's a lot of different connections and people who meet us and want to support the department and support the program, and that really respect the program that we have here at Clackamas. And yeah, it's great to go back each year and see everybody that you met the year before. It's really a positive and profound experience for everybody.
I actually shook hands with a gentleman the last 2 years that I've been out there with, and nice to see you again, and don't remember his name, but caught it finally this last year. So you see returning people, returning staff, and it brings it closer together. And even in the hard times, because this isn't, you are studying, and I mean, emotions get built up. And so you get to share the soft, squishy side of you too with people that you normally just go to school with.
Thanks. A little success story here in this slide is past student Corinda Washburn participated for 2 years in the competition and leveraged a top performance there into an account manager job at Pacific Landscape, which is a large regional company who sends a big contingent to the competition, very big supporters of us and the other Oregon schools financially. And so we saw her there now as a rep for Pacific Landscape Management. And now, while Jim is on sabbatical this coming winter, she will also be associate faculty helping to train the next season students for the event. So we're bringing it full circle in-house here, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, it's also a lot of fun, and it costs some money. And so we fundraise for it to keep the costs low for students. You guys remember what you paid? $150?
It was $112.
Yeah, I think I paid $60 plus some volunteer work.
Yeah, $53 in volunteer work for me.
Then it was $112 with no volunteer work.
And we do that through our list of supporters here, through the Perkins funds that were available for faculty to travel, and through our Best of the Rest plant sales. Those are the 2 sales following up on our big Mother's Day plant sale that go directly to fund our NCLC students. So combined, we've been successful so far in keeping the costs incredibly low to get everybody on a flight, in a hotel, right? Fed and registered for all the events for the 4 nights.
Yes.
So thanks very much for the chance to share with us what we're doing, and we're looking forward to doing more fun and top performance next year in East Lansing at Michigan State.
Michigan State, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. What would the cost be? How much do you want to be raising?
A little bit depends on the location. Fort Collins, for example, it was relatively cheap to fly to Denver, but not cheap to stay there. So overall, it's usually in the 1,500 to $2,000 per student
Mhm.
range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice supporters that you have there too.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Does anybody have questions
No,
for these folks? Just
you already told us that you're gonna be in Michigan next time.
That's right.
I thought you're gonna go back to Colorado again.
The competition, it moves around every year. They try to kind of move it around the country so it's more convenient at some point for people. The past 2 years before this, it was in Provo, Utah. So now it's time to move east for a bit.
Then Mississippi the year before that.
that was the one I think you guys
Yeah,
reported on, didn't you?
it was Corinda and I
Yeah.
that came into that board meeting.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for all of you because my wife's a Spartan.
Yeah, those land grant universities, they're bringing teams of 30, 40, 50 people. And so it's tough to compete because you get points per person in an event. So with 11, we're standing up pretty good with the performance that we have. Thank
Done
you.
a great job. Thank you.
Congratulations and a
Thank
great
you.
job, and thank you for that presentation. Okay, well, up next, we have a presentation, reports and comments. So association reports. Associated Student Government is Bethany. Good, hi.
Yes, I'm online. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So for your student government report, we just completed our elections for the 25-26 school year. And I'm happy to announce that Brianna Davis will be ASG's new president for next year, and that Samuel Power will be our vice president. We also have started our interviewing process for the ASG team for next year as well. And then we also have Wellness Month going on, and so far it's been a really great success. We had our Wellness Activities Fair yesterday, which was really successful. We had therapy puppies, some dogs, And then I also got to watch President Cook take a few swings at the car bash yesterday, which was really fun. And then our last big event is our dodgeball tournament, which is next week on Thursday. And then we also have our ASG or the leadership banquet that is coming up in 2 weeks from today, where we'll be celebrating all of the great leaders here at CCC. This is one of my favorite nights of the year because not only do we get to see student government leaders, but also student leaders at our whole entire school get nominated, and we get to celebrate all of their successes as well. And then some other fun projects that we're working on include a yearbook for our student life and leadership program. We're also looking into starting a new department in student government. And so that'll be exciting to see where that goes. And we're also going to do a trial event to gauge interest in the need for a clothing closet here on campus. And then we also just today allocated more long-term funding to the food pantry in order to increase the number of students that we can serve. This hopefully will allow more resources such as food and hygiene supplies. And then lastly, I know that ASG has been talking about the washer dryer project for a while here on campus, but we've redirected this project and are planning on partnering with some local laundromats and to find a way to provide free laundry to students off campus on a regular basis. And that is all I have for you today.
Well, thank you, Bethany. Nice report.
Thank you.
So Associate Faculty, Christopher Zimmerly Beck, you are here. Come on up, please.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
How are we doing? Awesome. Let's see. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
I took notes. Last time I was like, I'll just talk, but tonight you get notes. So one, I just want to start by saying I am grateful for the work that our budget committee and board are doing. I serve on an organization's board and budget committee. I know how challenging it is balancing everyone's interests and needs and all of that stuff. So I recognize that as I'm about to say what I'm about to say. Hearing all these people talk tonight about Fred Davis led me to Google him. The first thing that pops up are Oregonian articles praising him and our college. The man is an educator, clearly making an impact, and I'm here to ask for a budget that prioritizes students and educators like Mr. Davis, associate faculty, and the people that really were charged and called with serving, not just for one program, but across the college. Tonight, we heard a lot from community members. We heard them say they have concerns about the budget. They used phrases like targeting a protected class, no administrator spoke to us, the elimination of one administrator will save multiple associate faculty, the college is too top-heavy, the college is investing more in administration than instruction and student services, CCC has an obligation to serve the community, the whole atmosphere is different now, and someone sat here and said it's just sad. I don't think that's acceptable. Clackamas is a community that values public education. These sort of comments from the community we serve align with how associate faculty feel. The majority of my members feel shut out and not included in shared governance. So as cuts are being pitched, I don't think it's fair to say this budget has developed through anything resembling a shared governance process. For the last decade, the college has invested in administration while cutting everyone else. There was no shared governance decision that said this is okay. There was no shared governance decision to eliminate courses taught by associate and part-time faculty. I remain deeply concerned about how the administration has approached budgetary decisions like canceling classes, announcing program eliminations, and hiring freezes. I'm asking the board to direct the administration to rethink what's being prioritized. If cuts are necessary, they should come from the top. Lastly, this is me being frank and honest. We're going into a bargaining year. The budget that you guys adopt sets the context for that bargain. What kind of bargain do we want to have? Do we want to have a collaborative bargain based on shared values and an honest grappling with the limited resources we have? Or do we want to have a budget where my members understand the top-heavy nature of this institution and feel like they are second class to the needs of administrators? That's going to set us up for a very difficult bargain next year. And that's for associate faculty, but all three bargaining units are negotiating next year. And I hope that context is not lost on the board. Thank you for your time. Also, we had an independent researcher look at the budget. We've shared that with the administration. And if you all haven't seen it, please reach out to me or to the administration. I think you should take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Okay, Jennifer Pope, classified. Thank you for being here.
And thank you for being here. Good evening. I would like to start by echoing what Christopher and Chris and all the students we heard from earlier said about the need for better transparency with the budget process and more clear and accessible ways for employees, students, and community members to truly get involved, be informed, and feel heard before decisions are implemented about the budget. In response to our members' expressed desires to know more about CCC's budget and financial state and to hear about it from sources besides just administration, as Christopher just said, this year our 3 unions did things like enlisting the help of an outside budget analyst and holding our own budget information forums and encouraging members to attend budget committee meetings and board meetings and presentations that were done by the college so that we could all be more informed. But the frustrations our members feel when solicited questions go unanswered, or budget messages sound the same as every other pre-bargaining year, or we see cuts implemented before the budget is even approved, is very real, and we are hard-pressed to feel like our engagement is valuable and makes a difference. Through this process, we've learned that since 2014, in all but 2 fiscal years, CCC has projected a decrease in the general fund balance in their final budgets due to expenditures or other uses of funds outstripping revenues or sources of funds. On average, the college projected an annual decrease in the general fund balance of $3.2 million per year over those 10 years. The actual year-end results, though, were on average $3.6 million better than the college predicted, reporting an average increase of $400,000 a year. So essentially, the college has been roughly breaking even since 2014, despite every year we hear dire projections to the contrary. We've been told throughout this budget cycle that the excess reserves held in the general fund for the last several fiscal years is a result of the one-time funds received during COVID. And the impact of these funds is really clear to see on any graph that you can look at. But the president's proposed budget that he sent out also says that for the 3 fiscal years prior to the pandemic and its accompanying one-time funds, the general fund still had an ending balance well over and above the board's required 10% minimum reserve as well. We were told yesterday that this 10% minimum in reserves was not representative of best practice, which would call for 2 months worth of operating expenses to be held in reserve, which makes sense. But the 10% minimum required allows for an increased ability to be flexible with the budget, which also explains why the president's proposed budget document includes a graph which forecasts a general fund ending balance for the 25-26 year that looks to be approximately $1.5 million over required minimum reserves, instead of allocating that excess towards mitigating some of these proposed cuts, as some of us might expect to see. The 25-26 budget presents $2.35 million worth of ongoing reductions to compensate for the forecasted structural deficit, as you all know. Classified are very concerned about the $575,000 in vacant classified positions that are being eliminated. These were split into 2 separate slides, so it looked like a lesser dollar amount than the cuts to administration. But these eliminated positions, 5 eliminated positions, cover 24.5% of the total proposed budget reductions. We're very concerned about the increase in workloads and the decrease in future growth these eliminations create in our departments. Students and community members, as we heard loud and clear tonight, are concerned about the elimination of courses, reduced numbers of sections available, loss of tuition waivers, increased class sizes, and workloads on their instructors, which they all know impacts their student experience as well. We all understand that education is not being funded adequately by the state and that these are unpredictable times at best with respect to federal funds. But as we move into the next phase of the budget process, the Association of Classified Employees implores the board to ask more questions about these proposed cuts and the decisions being made about where to spend our money and where to save our money and what those choices communicate to employees, students, and the community about our priorities. Is there a better way to do things so that we are putting our money where our mission statement is, and so that the public can plainly see how and why these fiscal decisions are being made and what our influence truly is in the process and the product? Thank you all for letting me have the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thank you. Okay, Chris and Lars, or just Chris again?
Yep, Chris Knichka, full-time faculty, co-president. You might remember me from earlier in the meeting. Yep, I'm here representing Lars and I tonight. And, I feel like my fellow employees and I have told you what we think. You've heard from the community. Right? Now it's time to just take all of that, analyze, process, and really put the work in to make sure that, right, as a community college, we're doing the things that work for the students that we serve, the community that we serve, right, the employees that work here, in that order, I think. And I also want to share that while that's all going on, your full-time faculty are still working really hard to make this a great place to work and learn. You saw in the report things like Office of Teaching and Learning, completing their equity-informed rubrics, faculty learning community, right? People learning how to do this and then apply that in their classes. So much so successful that it's going to be renewed and repeated. The wet/engineering programs put on the Invent Oregon Innovation Challenge just after the April board meeting. And several students competed in this science competition to win $2,500 to get their prototype or scientific product concept off the ground. 30,000 in prizes total, and the winning team was able to develop a prototype to deploy tees and a golf ball on the green without having to bend down. So I think for both for the people with mobility issues that Eric listed here, and also just for the people that are riding on the carts and not walking, they're going to be using that. Journalism had a great showing at the Oregon Newspaper Publishers Association's Collegiate Awards this year. 13 different awards, including bests in several categories like website photography, headline writing, sports photography, et cetera, as well as journalism sending their first intern to the Oregonian this spring. And Quentin is being paid. Quentin Prudhomme is the intern. He's being paid through collaboration with the CCC Foundation, Linda Vogt Internship Scholarship. So collaboration with Foundation got them to the point where he can be working at the Oregonian, also getting paid for it, and coming out with a fantastic, workplace credential. Dawn Hendricks from Early Childhood Education ran the Grow Your Own Grant Summit for teacher preparation professionals around the state. And the English department just put on last week the Compose Creative Writing Conference, right, with Stephen Graham Jones as the keynote speaker. It's for $25. Students, staff, the public, et cetera, can get into this fantastic English poetry writing event, and coming up every May. And from horticulture, Chris Knichka wanted you to know that we had our annual spring plant sale on May 9th in the Green 2 parking lot. It was a big success. The spring plant sale is our #1 way as a department to interface with the public. We had over 100 people in line at the beginning, the whole length of the parking lot waiting to get in there to get their plants. And not only do we interface with the public that day, but we also get the chance to show them what we're doing, show them how we're growing things, share a program with them. And then, of course, the money that goes into the department from buying the plants is used to fund our horticulture club, which puts on events, speakers, and programs every Monday throughout the year, as well as funds all of the materials to make the plant sale itself happen. And then I mentioned earlier in the NCLC talk about how the follow-up sales help to fund that group as well. And finally, from Lars and music, Kathleen Hollingsworth took the advanced vocal ensemble to University of Washington and Western Washington, performed for faculty there, and received some excellent training. And Lars is performing tomorrow night at the Pacific Northwest Jazz All-Star as the Pacific Northwest Jazz All-Stars with the Eugene Symphony Orchestra. So we're out there trying to make this an interesting, engaging place to be every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, yes.
Chris, just a question or a comment. You had flowers that were out there during the Saturday session.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing I say that I didn't get mine. I was out there early too, and they ran out.
Yeah,
So-
sorry, Joe, you got to line up at 11 on Friday.
But I want to tell you, it was very successful, and I appreciate that because I've been coming to that plant sale for a long time, and this is the first time I saw the line going all around there. Kids and moms and dads and all.
Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah,
Yes.
it's been there in the past, but this one was a very good showing.
Yes, it
And we're getting wiser about how to leverage the captive audience in line to share our programs at that
Yeah.
time too.
That's terrific. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I would also say, please let Chris know that this board appreciates his pride in the students and their accomplishments here as well too, right? So,
Thank you.
Okay. So college reports, the president's report. So Tim?
Yeah, thank you. I have a number of items, but I want to start. This is the last meeting of the association leads, particularly the full-time faculty who will be off contract for the June meeting. They're clearly invited back, but I know that oftentimes the June meeting associations don't tend to come. So it's the time of year that we recognize and honor the work that the association presidents did this year. I was just reflecting as I was listening to the feedback, and I don't want to make comments on the feedback from the association presidents. But as you can see, I mean, we don't agree on a lot of things sometimes. I mean, there are positions and the rest, and sometimes the conversations that we have are challenging. And not always, but sometimes they are. And I think today is certainly a representation of that, where there's, I think, some work to do and as we move forward. But what I want to really recognize, what I want the board to understand is they're doing this work on top of their regular jobs. And they're doing it because they care about their members, they care about the college. And I think you see that and understand that. I know I do. And I know we recognize that and appreciate it. Even times when we're sitting across each other and it's clear that we're just, it's just tense, or we're not getting along. So I want to recognize all of you. I've got certificates for you. We're going to take a picture, and then we've got a plaque coming. It just didn't get here in time, so I apologize for that. But so you'll bear with me for a minute, and when I call your name, if you come up, so that we can recognize you. Oh, thanks. Thank you. So Jennifer, would you please come up? So, I should have told you.
Wow, you got the best.
You're what I always say is you're faculty. You get to wear whatever you like.
We're judging you.
Great. Yeah, that's great. So Jennifer
Right.
kind of took over and has been I don't even know how many years you've been involved in your association, but really took over this year and stepped up and acted as president of the association. And has been really working diligently on behalf of your folks. And so thank you so much for that work. Here's yours. Yes.
Because I'm gonna do a picture of all of
We're
you.
gonna do, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Christopher Zimmerly Beck, who would have dressed better had he known. Which, what I would say about Christopher is not only does he spend a lot of time here advocating for his members, I think very effectively, but he does quite a lot of work statewide. And, and I think that's really important as well, that we have representation beyond Clackamas for our associate faculty as well. And that's in addition to having children and teaching and the rest. So thank you for all of the time and the effort that you're here. I know sometimes he's saying, oh, I got to go pick up my kid. I'll be there. I'm coming. Or can we hop on Zoom? And I just know you're managing a lot with that as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you've heard from this guy a few times tonight. Chris Knitt, oh, you got up. We got up with that. Christopher, yeah, we'll get a picture. Chris Knichka, as you have heard, is involved in a lot. And, you know, actually we didn't even talk about the upcoming bond project, which he's helping select architects for, which he's, you know, in meetings and the rest. And that's, again, in addition to the work he's doing as a faculty, he's doing, you know, really here as a representative. Really a passionate person. I've actually really enjoyed working with you this year and just getting to know you a little bit better. I've always appreciated the work you've done with, you know, organic farming and all of the rest of that, but it's been really actually great just sitting across from you and talking more about who you are and the rest of that. So thank you for all of the work you do. I think this is probably the 4th time you've been up here tonight. So thank you for that as well. Yeah. Lars, we'll get him. Don't go anywhere yet. We got a picture we've still got. And then this is one that oftentimes people forget, but we also have, they're not bargaining units per se, but we also have administrative association or administrative leads that spend time over the year also trying to help make sure that things are going well.
Yeah, sorry. It just died.
Okay, well, so Christy Owen, I know is here, Dewan.
Is not here.
Oh, did Christy leave? Oh, Christy's
she's
here.
here.
Yeah, Christy, if you would come up, please. So.
Association.
Okay. Yeah, and so, you know, again, you know, Christy, she was sitting up here as the budget manager, relatively new employee to the college, stepped into the role. And actually Dewan, same, you know, with our IT, both stepped into the role, really, I think, wanting to help out, want to make a difference in addition to their day jobs. Well, thank you, Jesse. So let me give you that. And then, like I said, with Lars and Dewan, we'll get their pieces. So do you want me in this picture? Or you're just doing the 4 of them? Okay. Okay.
Yes, and then I'll have you in first and then. Thank you all. Squeeze together like you like each other. Smile like you want to say cheese balls. All right. And then Tim, if you want to step out, it'd be great. And then everyone else, give me a big old cheesy smile. That's right. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll just say, because he's here, Charlie Lettmeyer is from our industrial technology program, from our manufacturing program, is coming in next year to do this role. So I assume you're here tonight to see the work Chris is doing and figure out how this is going to go, or maybe you just didn't have anything else going on, so you came to spend some time with us. But yeah, both, right? But thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. So let me give this back to you. Thank you all. So lots of things going on here in May. You know, we're a little less than 4 weeks out from commencement, so it's just that time of year where there are lots of things to celebrate. And so I loved seeing the horticulture presentation tonight, and just some other things too that we'll comment on. If you didn't hear, and we haven't got a press release out about it yet, but our Oregon Small Business Development Center network announced that Clackamas Community College's Small Business Development Center, so this is a network across the state, has been awarded the prestigious Small Business Development Center Excellence and Innovation Award for SBA Region 10 as part of the National Small Business Week 2025. Recognized our SBDC's outstanding performance in delivering impactful business advising and training to small businesses in the region under the leadership of Director Rob Campbell. The center achieved remarkable outcomes, including the following: $5.4 million in capital raised. That was 133% of their goal. 100 successful capital transactions, 111% of their goal. 148 jobs created, which was 102%. 80 new business starts, and a 4.7 out of 5 client satisfaction rating. So we congratulate Rob and the SBDC here for their fantastic work. Chris mentioned the Composed Writing Conference. I go to that every year. It's amazing. We get some pretty phenomenal national, international authors. The author this time, he's written over 40 books, a number of, prizes and the rest. Just really, it's another one of those things that I'm like, wow, we do that at Clackamas Community College. So pretty cool. Today is the 50th anniversary of the ELC, Environmental Learning Center, which is is it 60? 74, or 75, is that 60 years? Am I that? I know, I was like, please don't age anymore. Yeah. I had a moment of panic there. Yeah. 50 years, yeah, and so we had a birthday celebration. Some of the founding folks were there today, telling stories. We recorded those, and it's just if you've never heard the history of the Environmental Learning Center, I don't have the time tonight to really get into it, but it's a wonderful story of really impassioned faculty who see an opportunity and see a need and really make it happen. And then over, to be able to look at it over time and see how it's evolved from that original idea, which frankly was an art faculty member who wanted students to go out and we had these, what do you call those, retention ponds from the Smuckers building when they were, canning here, and would have students out there painting because he wanted students outside. The art building was in that old Smuckers space, in the 70s. And then as he's out there saying, these square ponds need to be rounded. We need to be thinking differently about this space. And from that germ of an idea to literally thousands of volunteers, literally the Oregon National Guard coming in, the story's phenomenal. I mean, all of the different involvement on the rest. So I encourage you to check out the ELC and when you want to know more about that. Also, it continues. The Student Art Show opened this last week and is going to be open through June 5th. It's pretty amazing to see, again, all of our talented student artists in the art gallery in Niemeyer. So if you have a chance, please you can walk through that anytime that's open and see that show. Our spring theater show, Airness, starts this week and goes through June 1st on Thursday and Friday nights, 7:30. Saturday and Sundays at 2:30 if it's too late for you on Thursday and Friday night. That's a great thing. Of course, we will be closed this Monday for Memorial Day. And then there is, I think Chris mentioned this as well. There's oh no, actually, I don't know if you did. This is different. We're anybody considering a career in education, come to a teaching and education college and career fair on Tuesday, May 27th from 11 to 2 in the Wachino Welcome Center. And then next Tuesday, when we come back from the break, we'll be hosting a federal forum solely for students. We've done a couple now for the college, for staff, but the students have asked for a federal update on the impacts for them. So we'll be holding one of those this next Tuesday at noon in this room. And then my last piece, and sorry, Chris, I hate to bring up your name again, but this impacts you. You've all heard about the OSU extension potentially backing out of the deal that we've been working on for about 3 years. And I'll just give you a quick synopsis. We've been talking with, they approached the OSU extension and the county approached us literally over 3 years ago, around 3 years ago, about the possibility of moving onto campus. At that time, they were looking to rent a building and maybe refurbish it, and we just didn't have anything that was available. And so we proposed at that time that if our bond were successful, that they come in with us. I think you know this story. And so there was a lot of excitement around this idea. It pulled really well for our bond. I think it's probably fair to say that, as close as our bond was, that project maybe even helped us push over the top. Very recently, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago, we learned about it. Apparently from them, they've known about it since March. The OSU Extension Office had an opportunity to purchase Bob's Red Mill, which the cafe and the commercial side of that. And what I understand is the folks at Bob's Red Mill have had a long time affiliation with the OSU Extension. They really were interested in having OSU Extension move there. It met a lot of their needs around a commercial kitchen and office space, and the rest did not meet their needs around our natural resources that we're working on. Long story short, the county is the governing body over the extension. And so they had some concerns about this, and we, Director Reed and, Chair Reed and I met with them on Tuesday and heard from, the commissioners wanted to hear from OSU, they wanted to hear from us. And it was pretty clear that the commissioners liked the vision that of them being on our campus, had felt, I think you'll have to add anything if I've missed it. I think they felt like they'd been blindsided a little bit, like this came pretty fast and they hadn't had an opportunity to really look at it closely. But at the end of the day, they voted not to move forward with the Bob's Red Mill purchase. And so OSU, that project with the OSU extension is back on. And I've said this to the staff there, Jane was with me. My concern now is I don't want them to feel like, we're the consolation prize or that they're sort of stuck with us. And so we're talking about how do we move forward and do kind of a reset and really talk about how we can collaborate. But I'll just say, they were disappointed. I think that's the polite way to say they were excited about that Bob's Red Mill project, and it's going to take a little bit of work, I think, to move forward. I still think the vision is a good one. I think there's a real opportunity to create this center of excellence for natural resources. And, I believe we'll get there, but in the short term, if you know anybody or you run into anybody around this, it may take a minute. So that's my report, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you. So the next is my report, Chair's report. Or does anyone have
Did I
questions?
miss?
Does anybody have questions? Okay.
Oh.
Yes, I did go with President Cook. Was it yesterday? I think it was to the.
Was it just
It was
yesterday?
Tuesday. Yeah, just yesterday. And it was an interesting process, and it was one of the things I came away with is the love of the college and the understanding of the work of the college that the county commission has, which was really good. And they wanted to talk to a board member just to just hear from a board member. And pretty much all I did was share much of what President Cook just said about how we've been hearing this for about 3 years and how we were very excited about the way that collaboration would work with the college. And I think we were pretty low key. I mean, I don't, but that that it was a real opportunity. It would be a missed opportunity if it didn't happen, because that was cool. So that was pretty much what we said. And then the commissioners chose to not move it forward. So we will have that. And the meeting with the architects very soon. Yeah, which is good. Yeah. And then maybe it's too early to declare that we're all reelected, but I think all of the board members here that we're running have been reelected to our positions. I mean, I don't know what else has to come in. I'm not sure. Hope so. It looked pretty good earlier. And I think I'll just go on to the OCCA report next, which is next on the agenda. So overall state revenue is down $165 million from earlier projections, and it's mostly down in all tax areas, meaning everything that the property taxes and the well, what are the 3 areas?
Lottery bond dollars
Lottery
are
bond,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah.
other pools.
Thank you.
You don't need to get into the details.
Thank you. Don't tell me. Those 3 areas, yeah. And this was from the state economist's report that happened earlier last week. And the state economist shared that we are in a growth recession, meaning that the slow growth is insufficient to keep employment stable. The state will have difficulty reaching its current service level for all budgets. So OCCA is working to ensure that the $850.4 million from the governor's recommended budget for community colleges allocated for the Community College Support Fund. We had been asking for $920 million. So we just hope it will at least be at the governor's recommended 854.4. But that, John Wyckoff also noted that that would likely be the ceiling for community college support funding, not the floor. So even at that level, we will likely be facing cuts at a state level. So, let's see, that's that. And then tomorrow at 10, OCCA is going to be presenting the annual apprenticeship report. The community colleges are required to report annually on the amount of work performed on capital construction projects by apprentices, women, and minority individuals. So I think that's going to be happening tomorrow. They gathered a lot of information from all of the colleges, so they are able to make that. On May 9th, a lot of community colleges gathered at the Sheraton at the Portland Airport to discuss guided pathways implementation. Teams of participants talked about prior trainings, assessed progress on their individual campuses, and they set short and long-term priorities. And the Student Success Center intends to hold more convenings focused on pathways implementation over the coming biennium. And they're doing a lot of really good work on that group. Also, OCCA is accepting proposals for breakout sessions at the 2025 OCC Annual Conference, which is going to be November 5th through 7th at the Best Western Plus Hood River Inn, which is the first time we've ever been there. And the year's theme is Navigating the Winds of Opportunity. We're looking for presentations to share best practices, showcase a unique college program, or inform other stakeholders about an event or issue affecting your institution and or community colleges on a broader level. And that's always a great conference. So I'm hoping that board members and a lot of folks will be able to go to that. So I think that's it for the OCCA report. And Joe, do you have a foundation report? Good.
I'm going to make this really short today because I know it's early for all of us. The foundation gave a report dated May the 21st, but they indicated that they're just in the middle of a lot of their processes and we'll have a complete recap at our next meeting. For spring, they had 972 scholarship applicants. There are 83 folk from the college who read for them, and the applications that they read, they found out that the statistical scores have improved tremendously. As of this date, they've made over 100 award decisions, and at the next board meeting, they'll give us a recap of what's going on and how many they think that they will be able to increase the promotions of the scoring rubrics. That they conducted their third annual Rise Up Luncheon, which is what they use to sort of make a thank you to the community. They raised over $90,000 that lunch period alone. 100% of that will go into the hands of our students needing basic needs support. They had more given participation compared to last year and an incredible 29 new donors contributed. Our community is really responding to the message and stepping up to support our CCC students. I want to thank all of you who attended. And we had Dr. Cook do his version of Hank. I think it was Hank. Forrest Gump. Well, I call it Forrest Gump. And they are really excited about that. And any of you want to run with Dr. Cook, find out where he is and take a short run with him.
Is that video available online anywhere?
It's online.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Okay, good.
It's funny. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. And I forgot to mention in my board chair report that they went to the luncheon and it was wonderful. The Rise Up luncheon was excellent. And read scholarship applications as well, which was also very interesting. Learned a lot about our students, and I'd recommend that folks have a chance to do that next year, which I think we will, right? We will. We do that. Yeah. So now Board of Education community reports. Does anyone have anything they want to report? No. Well, I hate to be the one between us and that door, but I just have one thing. I have two, but I'm going to save the next one until next week. But I just wanted to say that 11 Estacada High School students will be receiving their high school diploma and their associate's degree at graduation next month, which will be great. And okay, well, I think if there is nothing else, we are adjourned. And thank you all for being here. This was a long night and but appreciate every one of you. Thanks a lot.